Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the Amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me today. It's Thursday, the day of Thors. It is Thursday, right? Yes, it's Thursday. We're going to have a lot of fun. Let's go here. Get out of the brain here. Get out of the way. Yes, I had something in my ear. Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's Thursday. We've got some interesting topics today. We always open to talking about religion, always open to talking about the theocracy being imposed upon us, and always open to talking about the evil Trump. The evil Trump? That doesn't even roll off the tongue very well. I have to think of something more clever. He's better at that sort of name-calling thing than I. Anyway, we're going to talk about those sorts of things. I don't know if you noticed the title of the stream today. Donald Trump had a couple of flagpoles put in, and they were very specifically 88 feet tall. I wonder why. Any ideas? We'll talk about it in a minute. Don't forget, guys, we're doing the Ark Encounter protest about 3 weeks away. I will be there as the MC, introducing all the wonderful speakers, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you can, be there. Otherwise, go support. Do the thing to support us. Thank you. Center. There we go. There I am. All right. Good morning, people. Let's see how it looks this morning on the show. I am a little washed out, but that's okay. I'm going to do this. Let me go here.
Oh, I got the stars in my hair.
Yes, you got your. I was going to try to get rid of that. I sort of. Let's go here though, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here under Leave of Brutus and the rest, and I'm going to go here under Filters, and I'm going to go boop. There we go. I look normal. You got a little bit of green behind you. I'll figure that out later. There we go. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. But at least it's a good color of green.
Yeah. Hey,
It is sweet.
It works.
Good stuff. And if you do,
well.
you do. Good morning. How are you doing this morning, Ryan?
I am doing all right. Thank you very much. I think I might have got some sleep a little bit last night and the night before. A little bit more, not much. But a tad bit.
Good. Glad to hear it.
What about you?
Not me so much. I was up at 1:30 this morning. I've had most of a day by the time the show even starts.
Yeah, you're always up early. But what about that headache?
Well, I've had a headache the last couple of evenings. It's more, I want to say pressure, and then it gets to start working into a headache. And then I take pills and I go to bed, and it's been, but just a little pressure off and on, so we'll see, hopefully.
Boo hiss.
And I've been drinking water, the wet stuff, the stuff.
Good.
Fish reproduce in that. It's disgusting. But we drink it because we have to. Good morning, Miss Non Sequitur. Thank you for joining us today.
Miss Non Sequitur.
Left-handed Jedi, the rain is what wrecks me. Ryan is looking particularly lovely this morning. Very true.
Oh,
very true.
It's very moist out.
It is moist. You like the word moist. You're a moist fan.
I'm a moist fanatic.
Yes, you are. I've heard that. I've seen the OnlyFans.
It's been like 80%, I think, humidity around here or something like that. It's rained so much and then warmed up.
Helps with the curls, does it?
Yeah, well, it makes it really frizzy, to be fair.
Oh yeah.
That's why the past couple of days my hair has been a little bit frizzy. But this morning when I walked Pickles, I kept my thing that makes my hair curly. I kept that in, so I just was walking around with that, and I don't care, whatever.
Right. They ain't looking at your hair anyway. It's your butt they're looking at.
Yeah, I highly doubt it.
You know how men, women are going to look at your hair. Men,
true.
You know, the last thing they're like, oh yeah, she was bang. Oh, she have something on her head. I don't know. Huh?
I've had someone tell me they enjoy my colorful outfits when they've seen me out.
Yeah. I imagine. Well, you do make some custom outfits out of your own, like bed sheets and stuff, right?
Yeah, I just use whatever I have. I have a good bit of fabric, but yeah, if it's material, I'll make something out of it.
Well, let me say hello to everybody this morning. Good morning, Left-Handed Jedi. Thank you for joining me. Really says my people were fair and had sky in the hair, but now they're content to wear stars on their brows. There you go. That's romantical. What are you doing down there, little man? My computer engineer's running around back there underneath the computer stuff. He just wants to say hi this morning. Migraine for 3 days here. Really, Kyle? You too? I get them too. Sometimes it's a full-blown headache. Sometimes it's just a pressure for a few days. Like right now, I got a tiny, super tiny little headache. Like super tiny. I have to stop to hear it, but I can hear it. Yes, Ollie's right here. He likes chilling. Let's see here. Good morning, the mighty Filbert. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, everyone. Adrian Belgrade, nice to see you this morning. Now, I wanted to mention the topic of the day for those of you who are not familiar with the subject. Let's see. It's been a minute. Shout out Chris for keeping a foot on Trump's neck. Thank you, Adrian Belgrade. I was thinking we hadn't seen you in a day or three. Now, Kyle, I'm not really good with names. You are Kyle from Durante Lamar's Kyle, right? Pardon me if that's an inaccurate description, because there are several Kyles. But I think that's the Kyle I believe you are. Let's see, AR. Good morning, AR. Thank you for joining us. Not the dog whistles.
Right?
It took a minute for me to. Yes. Well, you know what? And you're talking about the shocking is the 88.
Yeah, I didn't even see that until this morning when I looked at the topic to share the show, and I was like, wait, and then I went and researched it, and I was like, that's weird. That's weird.
You know what I did this morning? The amazing Super Chris, made a video. I know, I was productive. Productive. I turned on the thing. If I can turn on the camera and just rant into it for a minute and be done, that's one thing. But if I got to stop and script it, it's going to take me days to get that shit done.
Right. Anyway, I get it.
Let me you feel the pain.
I do. I feel that pain.
You do. All right, so let me go over here and I'm going to pop up this video. Thankfully, it's a very brief 1 minute, 24 seconds. So it's not very long. I'm going to go view on the tube of views. Back, man. Silence. But he's very handsome. Okay, so we're going to go here. And damn it. All right, hold on. Here we go, my friends. Check this out. Peep this, my homies. Is there a secret message in Donald Trump's flagpoles? Okay, let's watch this and find out. Donald Trump had 2 flagpoles installed on the White House lawn, one on the north side, one on the south side. And both of these flagpoles are, for some odd reason, exactly 88 feet. 88 feet tall. Why would you choose 88 feet tall? Why would Donald Trump, alleged fan of Adolf Hitler, and obviously becoming an authoritarian dictator, even Barack Obama has now come out and said that he's taking our country into an authoritarian fascist state. I don't think Obama used the word fascist, but anyway, so 88 is a racist symbol, by the way. Coincidence? Maybe. 88. If you go in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H is the 8th letter in the alphabet, H. And then you take 2 H's, 8 and 8, and put them together, and you get Heil Hitler. And so Donald Trump has just installed 2 flagpoles at the White House, on the White House lawn, each one of them being 88. Why do you think it's 88 feet specifically? Why not 89 feet? Why not 90 feet? Why not 100 feet? Why not 80 feet? Why not 85 feet? Why 88 feet specifically? All right. So, that's a question we must ask. Why? Pourquoi would he do this?
Well, especially considering that just a couple months ago, they were going to be at 100 foot.
Yeah. And now my understanding is that he actually paid for this himself. They were custom made and unique. Allegedly. Yes. Allegedly. Now, I also want to mention and thank you, AR, for pointing this out. AR, the same person who came in and said a minute ago, and I was like, what are you saying? AR came in and said, not Z dog whistles. And sometimes people will come in there like, you call everything a freaking not Z, if you know what I mean, right? You're always throwing that word around and blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of what I thought AR meant at first. And now that I see the rest of the thing, AR actually here points it out. Mike, do you know Mike, what's his face from My Comfy Pillow or some bullshit?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, darn. I can't think of his last name, but yes, I know exactly the My Pillow guy.
The My Pillow guy. The My Pillow guy, he had his his pillows. He sold them for $14.88. He had a running sale and was selling them big, huge sale, selling them for $14.88. Normally $39.95, but for you today, $14.88. Why $14.88?
Yeah,
because there are 14 words, I believe, to a specific right-wing mantra. There's 14 words to it. And then the 88. We already explained what the 88 comes from. Mike Lindell. Yes, Mike, if you're watching, sorry that we forgot your name. What the problem is I sleep on one of your lumpy pillows, and I don't sleep very well.
Wow.
I don't have one of his pillows. There's no way on earth. You won't catch my dead body on one of his pillows. Better not. I'll be complaining. I'll be a mad, dead person. Okay, I'm looking for some other stuff here. I want to show you something. Something is on the wing of the plane. All right, damn it. Focus, man, focus. Okay, so I'm going to bring up this image, les images, and I want to share this with you because I am a nice guy and I like to share things. Okay, so, and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it amongst ourselves. Here we go. Window? Ain't a window? Is it this window? It's this window right here. All right, so let's talk about, that's not the one. There we go. Let's talk about this. You see this on here?
Yes,
friends?
I can see.
All right. So now over here on this side, you don't see an 88 up here, like necessarily all by itself, like you did on the other page. But look over here. You see this?
Right.
HEIL, used by Nazi in war, literally means Hail Victory, 1488 or 14/88. So if you see that or a tattoo of that on a person, they are almost certainly a racist piece of shit.
Run.
Okay. Now, the 14 words: we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Okay. That's what they say. 1488, right there. And the 8th letter of the alphabet, H, twice for Donald J. Trump. So, so you got to ask yourself, at least I have to ask myself, because that's the kind of jerk I am. Why 88 feet, Donald Trump? Why exactly 88 feet? For what reason? It doesn't seem like I could be wrong, right? Maybe 1988 was the year Donald Trump Jr. was born, and he's so sentimental about his eldest son, his youngest son, his middle son. He's so, you see what I mean? No, he probably doesn't even know what year they were born.
No,
just if you ask him right off. So what's the 88 for? Anybody else out there got any ideas what that would be for?
I know what it's for. It's for dog whistle.
And one of the things is, I'm not the only one to notice this. It was odd. I find it very odd. Okay, my friends, that yesterday when I cracked open the news and I saw that the first article said Donald Trump installs 88-foot flagpoles. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I thought, that's weird. Isn't that weird? Mm-hmm. And I started looking for confirmation. I wanted to confirm it. Okay. And so the next few articles I could find on it they'd say things like Donald Trump installs 100-foot flagpoles, or Donald Trump installs flagpoles over 80 feet tall. And it was very hard to find some that actually pinned it down to exactly how big they were. And it was the original articles by CNN and the other reporters. There were several of them, the original ones that came out. So it's like the later after they came out, the more it became blurred from other news outlets as to how tall they actually were. Anyway, I also want to mention, did you hear, Miss Ryan, did you hear that while they were out there installing the flagpoles on the White House lawn, Donald Trump went out there and talked about them a couple of times.
Okay.
At least once he went and interviewed and himself personally went over to the workers laboring to install the flagpoles and asked them if they were illegal immigrants or not. So Donald Trump, out of his own pocket, contracted a company to come out and install flagpoles on the White House lawn. And while they were there, he literally went out there and asked them if they were illegal immigrants or not. Can you imagine if one of them had been an illegal immigrant and they had to carry him off right there off the White House lawn?
Like, yeah, sure. I just, let me go get my license. It's in the car. I'll be right back. Then I tailed out of there. What an absolute piece of trash.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody who's doing work, legitimate work. Like they're ripping people from their jobs. They're not going for criminals. They're going after people, going to their hearings, abiding by the law, and going through their meetings as they're supposed to so they can be vetted.
This is exactly right. No truer words have ever been spoken.
Yeah.
And, did you hear that?
People, like you and me, man, they're paying out more than what they're getting back.
True.
They're at least paying more in taxes than what frickin' Elon and Trump have ever paid.
That's right. They've paid more to actually be here than they have, technically, as far as Elon Musk goes. Left-handed Josh, someone brought up the problem with the flagpoles. Marine One, the POTUS's helicopter uses that lawn to land. Not anymore.
Oh no! Are you serious?
Yeah. So they may have to move. They may have to move a little further over. Yeah.
I don't even know how big the one is. So
it would be unfortunate if he were like, never mind. Let the mind toy. Anyway, Secular Feelinist, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. He was hoping to deport them so he didn't have to pay them. Probably. I wonder if he waited until they was done. Wait until they were done and then went and asked them. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
I mean, that's what he does, right? He gets people to do the work and then doesn't pay, reneges on paying. So
Bomb Poppy says what he said after that was even worse. I'm not really familiar what he said after that. What did he say after that? Bomb Poppy, hook us up.
Tell us. We want to know. Inquiring minds.
Inquiring minds. We are those inquiring. They ain't old enough to know what that means. Dean Kruger says, newsflash, you are not going to live forever in a castle in the sky when you die. Son of a bitch. You've blown out my whole belief system. I don't know what to do.
Trump is. How dare you?
Oh, Trump is. I'm with you, Dean. We're on the same page. I agree with you. Were you talking to somebody specific? Good morning, Neuro Geezer. Knowing nothing more than the height, you can say 88-foot flagpole would be unstable. Well, I wonder why. It's a pretty impressive flagpole. It's got internal, like, the wires all internal, and it, like, I don't know. My understanding, it's quite the fancy flagpole. Only the best, right, for Donald Trump.
Well, he was planning on installing 100-foot flagpoles, and for whatever reason, then why now? Why has it changed from 100 to 88? And when you showed that picture of the White House, and the White House goes to 70 feet, and then the flagpole in the White House goes like another like 10 to 15 feet.
88 feet, yeah.
So basically, you're going to have two flagpoles that are going to be matched up with the White House. So the 100-foot, I think, would have added a bit more dimension and looked better because they're standing above instead of being right at the height.
Right. Well, exactly. And I was wondering if the difference, because, you know, it does say there that, I mean, let me bring that image back up. The original image I downloaded here. Hold on a second. There we go, before I edited it. So, yeah, the White House, the top of the White House is allegedly 70 foot. So this would be 18 feet. It would, the two flags would rise 18 feet above it. And I'll bring that on the screen here and show you what it kind of originally looked like before they changed their minds. This may be even what you probably saw to begin with.
Yeah, it's the same picture you shared before, but just with the different, just with the different dimensions on the top. Yep.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, because you know, this is the original photograph. So right about here is where the flagpole would end. Now, see, I'm wondering though if the White House. See, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for correlation. Is the White House? Never mind. That wouldn't work. Never mind. I'm just crazy. Me crazy, Chris. I was trying to think. Was the difference between the height of the White House and the top of the pole 14 feet? That would make it 1488. I'm trying to find out. I've been trying to think about where the 14, does he have a 14 somewhere in it? Somewhere in this, you know. I'm reaching. I'm probably reaching. I know. Let's see what people say.
Well, I mean, time will reveal.
Probably so. Let's see what Bomb Poppy said. He told them their lives would be ruined that by a press conference because now his people would look into them, the workers. Wow, really? He's such a douchebag.
Wait, what?
Bomb Poppy says he told them that their lives would be ruined by that press conference because now his people, his followers, were going to be looking into him, the workers, and that they will probably find out that this one did this and that one did that and this one's from where. So in other words, basically what Donald Trump says is that press conference just ruins you because my followers are going to go look you up and find out every bad thing all of you have done, where you're from and what you've done.
After installing 2 flagpoles at the White House, allegedly for the impact on our democracy to make us look like such a strong, reputable country. And now you're going to shit on the people who installed it. Well done. What a bully.
Yeah. What a piece of work.
No humanity in that man.
There really isn't.
People as people. They're just objects, workers.
I want to look something up real quick.
It's like a deliberate, he has to deliberately talk down to people. Like he doesn't know how to see people as equals. He thinks he's so much better than everybody. He's the best at everything that he ever does.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, there was a quote. There's somebody quoted during, and we mentioned this once on the show, during the Hague, during the Nuremberg trials, one of the investigators who were interviewing all the hardcore Nazi Germans who did all the unaliving and stuff throughout the Holocaust. And he said the one thing they all had in common was lack of empathy. They had no care for how other people felt. That was the one. I mean, that's a psychopathy. That's a chemical in the brain thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the one thing that he would define as evil. If you wanted to put a label on anything, it was the absolute lack of humanity or lack of empathy. Because
I agree.
They will do anything. Anything.
You don't, you don't have compassion. You can't put yourself, or you can put yourself, I don't know. Is it that you can put yourself in their shoes and that's why or you can't, or you do and you still don't care? I don't really freaking know how that works. Sorry. I was like, wait, my brain just broke for a second there.
We broke Rion on the show again. Good morning, Extema. Nice to have you with us this morning. Secular villainist, a trait shared by millions of his cultists. I know, right? And oftentimes they're very, and there's a modern colloquialism that encompasses this notion of what we just talked about, a complete lack of empathy. And it's the fuck your feelings crowd.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care how you feel. Right. That's their literal motto, fuck your feelings. you know? And that's why we mock them whenever they're like, oh, a tornado came through and now the government won't give us money. Well, you know how you feel about that. You didn't seem to care when it was other people, but now it's you and you're all crying and whining and wanting some government tit to suck off of. That sort of thing.
And they don't even, it's because they're offended. So they are actually the ones who have the big feelings about something. Because we've had that conversation before. If you called me Mrs. and it's actually Ms. and I corrected you or whatever, you wouldn't be like, you fucking bitch. You'd be like, oh, okay, Miss So-and-so, like NBD. But with them, for whatever reason, any kind of correction, constructive, however, what have you, they've got all of a sudden fifis. My fifis. I'm angry because you gave me fifis and I don't know how to handle those fees.
Right. That's right. Tim Timmons said, would a complete lack of empathy be a disability or a lack of education? Probably the latter. No, I don't think you have to be educated to feel for other people. You don't have to be educated to feel sympathy. Little kids demonstrate sympathy and stuff like that for other. Of course, little kids also display an absolute lack of sympathy. They're some of the shittiest people. They will be as mean as hell to other. They'll see another little kid down and they will go kick that sucker. Kids are bad. Probably not a good example to be used.
Well, hey, thanks. That's why they're not that strong. So thank goodness. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That hurt usually. A little
right.
Push, little punch.
And if they came at me, I could take on like 10 or 15 of them at a time. I'm just saying.
Oh man, Chris is fighting kids.
You've ever read those signs that say fight kids with diabetes? I'm like, well, all right, it seems a little unfair.
At least give them a head start or something.
Yeah. Give them their shot first. I mean, goodness.
Give them their insulin first.
Oh, I'm a bad man. This is wrong. We should stop.
You've led me into hell. That was a really, really bad conversation.
That was a bad spot. And just as Jason showed up, I remember I was like, hey, man, I want to be on the Baja Con. And they're like, oh, that's Chris Mallard. And then they launched into this, we don't like to have mean people and shitty people on our show. So,
and then you gave him a perfect example.
And then he rolls up and here I am. It was a play on the English language is what it was.
Oh, goddess, forgive me, please.
Oh, yes.
Happy Juneteenth. Oh, my God, thank you. I cannot believe I didn't even think of that this morning. Yes, it's the 19th, Juneteenth.
Yes. Good morning, Rational Poet. Jackie, thank you for joining us this morning. Where have you been? Oh, you were here.
Eyeballs.
It's awesome. Did you break your eyeballs?
Yeah, just because I was crying. I'd be crying.
That's awesome. Good morning, Meek. Y'all need Jesus. Just kidding. Fuck that guy. Meek, I like you already.
Welcome, friend.
I don't know where you came. I don't know where you came from, but I know where you're going, and it's to hell.
And we're going to come with you.
That's right. Right. Good morning, Deviant Outcast. Says Deviant Outcast, I'm here.
Good morning.
That's how I usually kick in the door too. I kick in the door and I go, I'm here. I was busy answering today's poll, even though Chris will never read it, even though he should. Anyway, can we start over? Oh, hey, look, Deviant Outcast is here. Good morning. Now we can start the show.
Everybody.
Man, I'm all right. I'm getting there. And I just know, I feel it in my bones, Deviant Outcast. I don't see the comment yet, but I feel it in my bones that, oh, there it is. Oh, it's a wall of text. Oh my goodness. We've had words about, have we not had words about this? I can read the first sentence of each paragraph to you.
Yeah. He has this thing. He has this thing about him. He's going to get help.
I have a thing. I got a disability, and I feel like since you know I have this disability, and yet you throw this at me, I feel like in a way, you're kind of
You're being ableist.
You're being ableist, I think, is what's going on. It's like, I'm in a wheelchair and you're like, go up these stairs over here, Chris. Come on, let's go up these stairs. Come on, man, you can do it.
Thank you.
I will try.
We love you.
88 is indeed a coded version of HEIL Hitler. Thank you for confirming that. Just like 81 is used by Hell's Angels, 8th letter of the alphabet plus the first little alphabet. How does... Oh, Hell's Angels. I got it. Ha! I think it's an important case to these to recognize the connections while simultaneously withholding any conclusions until further information is known. And that's fantastic. And that's all you get.
Who said that?
No. That was Deviant Outcast. All right. Yeah, that's a lot. Is there, I wonder if there was a way I could like give this to, hey, could you, there's got to be a TLDR version of this. Thank you, Deviant Outcast. I'm working on it. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, so I'll just see what that has to say. Good morning, Austin Sims. Why? Because Weed Bro, Pseudo History. Nice to see you. Andrew Christopherson. Thank you. Happy Juneteenth. You're fairly familiar with the history of Juneteenth.
A little bit. I know that they went down. It's when the North went down to the South to basically tell them you got to skeet. All the slavery's done, bitches. Chill the fuck out.
Yes, essentially. let me do this. I got a TLDC.
DR for you.
Okay, all right. I got it now. So basically what Deviant Outcast allegedly is saying is that sure, those numbers mean those things, but don't jump to conclusions. You could have just said that.
And I respect it because I don't want to be conspiratorial, but I do find it strange that I don't know, it started at 100 and for whatever reason it changed from 100 feet to 88 feet. I do feel like that's significant, but yes,
that is interesting.
All will come out. This will not stay in the dark. This could have been sponsored by somebody. Who's to say? He says he paid for it, but is that the truth?
Then at this point, let's go to today's poll. Thank you, Deviant Outcast. And, I have to mention that Deviant Outcast did indeed, just like I warned everybody that, my focus just ain't there for those kinds of things right now. We're working on that medically. It's coming. Deviant Outcast also said, I kind of have a problem of my own, and it's being extremely verbose. So it's just, we're working on it. We're working on it.
Trump couldn't get it up to 100 feet.
I was wondering if he just couldn't afford the extra, 12 feet, or Trump couldn't get it up there. Thank you for becoming a bronze member for just that long. Thank you for. However, let me do this. Let me read our poll. Thank you again. Lieutenant Jedi is awesome. Right from the beginning. Very from the beginning. The poll. I lost my poll. Oh, because I used it here at this place. There we go. I didn't lose it. Pardon me, damn plum. Okay, Trump had 2 flagpoles installed on the White House lawn. Let me share this. Poll. All right, so Trump had 2 flagpoles installed on the White House lawn, each standing 88 feet tall, very specifically 88 feet. What do you think of this? I put 88 is a Nazi symbol, meaning Heil Hitler. 88 is the lucky number in China, and he loves China. Or it was Steve Miller's idea. We've got our comments here, and I appreciate you. I do appreciate what you're saying there, Deviant Outcast. Yes, don't jump to conclusions. And you'll notice that's why in most of my things I'm asking the question. Even the title of the show was formed in a form of a question. And here, this poll, I didn't say Trump is being a Nazi. I didn't say this is why he's doing it. I said, why do you think he's doing it? I didn't even mention it here until down here, that it could be a coincidence, but it's also, or it could be this, or it could be this, could be somebody else's idea entirely as to why it's a different height.
And we do have to recognize that dog whistles are called dog whistles because only certain people hear them. So other people will be inoculated to the sound while others will see a significance in it. And is that not what is more important? Maybe to you and I, it isn't significant, but if it's significant to those people who are of that ideology, then to them, that will be a symbol of something. At least that's how I see it.
Now, here we've got a misunderstanding. I want to share this on the screen. Tema Extema, who I believe is still watching the show, says the 2008 Beijing Olympics opening date was 8/8 at 8:08 p.m. Y'all participated and celebrated a Nazi event. Well, actually, no, Tema. In China, which is where Beijing is, the Chinese culture, which far outsurpasses ours in many ways, both in length going back in time and in birth or girth now. Their culture favors the number 8. It's their lucky number. It's like the 3 or 7. If you're a lucky number 7 or a 3, that kind of person, they happen to get the opportunity to determine that year, because it was being held in their country, the opening date. I mean, it just makes perfect sense. Having zero to do with Nazism or Hitler or Germany. Do you understand that? Does that make sense?
And the Nazis like to appropriate other culture intentionally.
That is true. Sometimes people out there just don't understand things. And it could be that Tim McStemmel was making a joke. It's just that text is very bad.
I think in the comments they said they made a bad joke.
Yes. Yes. But it's a good thing to point out, though, because I mentioned earlier that even in my thing here, maybe it was, even in the deal here, 88 is a lucky number in China, and he loves China. It was a joke, really. Obviously, he doesn't love China, but I did point out that 88 is a lucky number, or 8. I should have just put 8 as a lucky number because it's just 8. 8's a lucky number.
It is great.
Yeah, and I think if I remember right, and sometimes I don't, you know how I do this, but in China, I think the number 4 is a bad luck number because it sounds a lot like death. When you speak it, the spoken word 4 sounds like death, so it's bad. And I'm sure somebody in the chat will confirm or correct me on that. I don't have a producer to look that shit up, so
damn it,
you're all now my producers.
Get to typing.
That's right. Get to work, people. Get to work. No more freebies around here.
Sumami has 88 teeth.
Sumami has 88 teeth. There you go.
What does it mean?
88 teeth.
I haven't counted mine recently to see how many teeth I got.
Sumami, be nice.
Don't bite us.
There's been a lot of aggression against other people in the chat lately, and be nice. Please be nice. Let's not have any more of it. Let's just be nice. I was going to visit with you about it if I could. I thought I had made it to where you were. Okay, I understand.
Well, you know, we have our disagreements.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I've seen a few in this audience.
Yeah, it's one thing to disagree with things, but it's another thing to just continually attack people, and I'm just not going to put up with the shit anymore.
I didn't see it.
It's been going on for a little bit. It goes on about itself, and I'm just kind of, I was going to try to address it calmly, and privately.
We should have maybe did that privately.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I'll tell you the deal. I thought I actually blocked her from the channel. And she showed up today, and I didn't want to sit here and watch her abuse other people in the chat this show. So rather than waiting, I'm not getting on to you. I'm just being passionate about it. Rather than waiting till later and trying to get with her privately, I tried to take care of it kind of privately. I just woke up this morning. I saw the thing from other people in the reports that I got. I went and watched my own show yesterday to see how she was treating other people. And I said, you know what? I'm just sick of this. I've been kind of, you know how the chat goes so fast and we kind of don't keep up with it.
I get bits and pieces, and sometimes people replying to each other or to us. And I don't always get
And this morning I'm like, hey, you need to be chill. I've tried right quick. You know, you need to be chill. Just kind of, and her answer was no. This is my show. This is my chat. Not her show, not her chat. She walked in the show the other day and just started opening up, cussing and swearing and just being a completely vulgar individual on the show yesterday. You're welcome, if you want to go back and watch yesterday's stream. Not you. I'm talking about anybody in the chat. Rion is sweet. I'm really vindicating myself to the people in the chat. So that's kind of what's going on now. I'll figure out I don't like that. I really wish we could have, because I really like historically Sumami. I appreciate Sumami.
I do too.
And her passion. I do. I just tired of watching her attack other people.
Line up.
Yeah, they do. But you don't sit there and just attack other people in the chat, and then it's just not the same. I don't, because that's why I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
Well, you're gonna have to pray for forgiveness.
Right. Theophilus says she came in hot. You're right. She came in hot today. She came in hot yesterday. She came in hot the day before that. And I get it. We're all passionate about this stuff, but that doesn't mean you have to take that shit out on other people in the chat. I'm sitting here basically watching somebody in the chat yesterday begging her, going, please stop. I have mental health issues. All I said with this, I was not attacking you. And she's like, fuck you. I'm going to attack you anyway because you don't agree with what I agree with. And she just kept on. I didn't even watch very long. I just stopped and I was like, that's kind of hard. So for anybody, if you need justification, just go watch what happened yesterday. I'm not, I don't want to do it. I really do like Sumami. She needs a chill pill. And that's what I tried to ask her to do in the chat. So that's kind of the deal. Apologies to everyone involved. I'm sorry we had to do this on the show. Sorry. I don't give a shit. Let me go here and check. Let me just check on our poll real quick and see. I thought it was odd, though, that I could have swore I went and blocked her specifically yesterday after watching the show. And I blocked her on here so she wouldn't show up this morning before I could get with her and talk about what was going on.
I do not know.
And yeah, so I don't know how she got through. No.
Are you sure you were logged into the right channel?
That's probably, I don't know, maybe not.
Because I have like a few different channels that I manage, and there's been times where I went to the wrong channel and posted something. I'm like, I gotta delete that.
Well, I really kind of wish I'd have been. I don't know. I wish it'd have gone somewhere else. But it's not my bag. Deviant Outcast. No, 88 feet is equal to 26.8224 meters, and if you add up all the numbers of 826.88, it comes to 24, and adding up to. See, you saw how it got to the end of my attention span, and I just started. But
it's worth reading. It's such a shady little read from Deviant Outcast, and I love it. You want me to read it?
No, Deviant. Yes, please, yes.
Okay, so Deviant Outcast says, note. 88 feet equals 26.8224 meters. And if you add up all the numbers of 26.8224, it comes to 24. And if you add up the 2 and the 4, it comes to 6. The collected number of brain cells in the U.S. administration. I just thought that was
it's a wonderful joke.
Mean something. See?
Right. It does. It's wonderful. No, I get you. All I'm saying, and maybe, and me and the evil one talked about it, was that it could be a combination of my antiperspirant medications. No, that's not it.
Antiperspirant? I don't think so.
My crazy pills.
Yes.
They enhance ADHD characteristics. That's what I heard.
Oh.
Possibly, yes. It's making it harder for me.
Oh, so you might have to get a whole switcheroo possibly when you get your new medication.
Yes. Yes.
Oh shit!
Yes. I may get that.
Oh.
One of the things they were talking about is that if you have ADHD and you just get you have such a hard time that it causes the depression, get on the ADHD medicine. Might even be able to get you off the stuff. So, thank you, Miss Non Sequitur, for sharing. Just Chris with his ADHD. That's right. My AD&D. Adrian Belgrave. Okay. All right. I guess we ought to. What's that?
Well, I that is a good call because a lot of my issues stem from the fact that my mind just feels like it's constantly on fire, Right. And that causes distress, and it does, again, that incapacitating feeling makes you feel depressed, like you're not accomplishing things, you're not getting that serotonin. Like so I wonder.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, interesting.
Fern, thank you very much, Fern. I don't know why, but I didn't see her. Maybe I did see her. I don't know, man, my brain. Have you found Jesus? Asked Fern. Fern says, for fuck's sake, have you lost him again? Use more nails next time. This is my favorite response to that. Find Jesus trash. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Fern.
Have you lost him?
I happened to notice it was a message in the chat told me, hey, did you see that? No. So thank you very much for that. Usually what I tell people whenever they come with the, Jesus on the cross thing and stuff, I usually think, if you'd have used screws instead of nails, right, that'd have been much more effective. Use the wall. Nail
I've done it. Oh yeah, if they had a air compressor back then, pneumatic.
Great idea. Yeah. I still think a screw would have been fantastic. Yeah. Screw
would have done well. They just needed a Phillips head screwdriver. Did they not invent that yet? They had.
I don't know. They may have. Rational. Austin says, I understand why people feel passionate about Israel and Palestine. We should still try to be polite, understanding, and compassionate to people who disagree with us. That's true. It's one thing, every now and then I've been talking on this show and I've said something wrong, probably more often than I'd like to admit. And I don't remember ever once Ryan calling me names, saying I was stupid, telling me I was ignorant, or not out loud, right? And of course, I usually I'm a person I'm pretty open-minded. I've said, oh, okay, I'm willing to change my mind on these things, or I'm willing to learn, or some of this business. But to just come in and just start cussing at people and yelling at people and being ugly to people, I just don't like it. And I get it. I get it. I get it. I don't want to let it become the center of the show.
I have a very, 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 very short temper. I understand that. I fight it. It takes every ounce in me to fight it. But a lot of times I will release on people who come at me in my comment section. That's where I kind of like, oh, well, you want it. Well, welcome to my domain. I am the master here.
That's true. Very true.
But in here, I try, it doesn't mean I don't get mad, or maybe, I get a little loud, but that's not even necessary. That's not even necessary intentionally. I've learned that that's actually part of ADHD. Did you know that? I did not know that. Yeah, because she even said to me as I was talking during the typical during the conversations, to assess me. That's when I would get excited about something, that I would get louder. And I was like, I noticed that I do that, and I didn't know why it was that I do that, but I'll be recording a video, and by the end of it, I'm yelling, and I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, okay, shut up.
Anyway, I don't know. I get it. And we all feel passionate about this stuff, but part of the deal is this has been a kind of continuing fight. It's like every time, especially these two particular people are in the chat, the one goes after the other, just right after every freaking time. And I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do
non sequitur. Let's get the Theocracy Watch.
Let's get to, thank you for that. Well, you know what we like to do? We'd like to take a little break. And before Theocracy Watch, we're going to take a little break. I think we're going to do some goats today, or Conspirowin. We'll do Conspirowin. I like the pup. I'm going to run the pup. We're going to do the pup. When we get back, we're going to do Theocracy Watch. We'll be right back, folks.
Flanagan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Flanagan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Flanagan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Faro Sombrero line of condoms. Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that,
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
true. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label, a warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
I wasn't paying attention.
All right. And we are back. Yeah, it's one of our signature moves. We're not, but we're back. Thank you. I got you there. I got you, Fern. Yeah, Discord. I thought you were already on our Discord. If you're not, hop in there. I'm not very good at it, and I tend to not respond to people because I'm a bad person. That's not really true. I'm my OCD. I do have a tiny little bit of OCD. My OCD won't let me not respond generally unless I forget, because my ADHD makes me forget. Adrian Belgrave. Yeah, I get you, brother. I get you. I mean, I don't want to have those problems. I don't want to have those problems. I want to make the block disappear and hope I don't know what the fuck to think, really. I don't know why it's my problem all of a sudden. Because it's my chat, I guess. I guess it's my chat, and I got to do something about it. That's the problem problems you have, I guess. Rational Poet Jackie says, did anyone see the recent find of the antique condom in the news? I did see that. That was very interesting. It had etchings of a priest whacking off over a nun rubbing her bean etched in the side of it. I did not see that part. Yeah. Apparently they were really they were reusable. They would use them and then wash them and reuse them again later. They had a little special carrying case for them and everything. Condoms were not disposable. They were, yeah. So
that's weird. That's real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, they've used, I think, starting back like in the 700s or 800s AD.
But I mean, they found with priests, they found I'm guessing like a container that would hold the reusable.
Yes, like a satchel or a wallet looking thing, if I remember. If we're talking about the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Well, if that ain't evidence of something.
That's right. Let's see. Yeah, Cusco says yes, they wash them like laundry. Yeah. So, like I was going to say, they started using. Actually, they were made out of like sheep intestines, starting back in the 16th or 17th century. Arabia area, and I think in the 14 or 1500s they finally started taking them out of the sheep in England. They figured it'd take them out of the sheep
before they use them.
I'm a bad person. I just blanketed all of Arabia. I'm a bad man. That's not funny. That's just how I heard the joke anyway. You can still get lambskin condoms. You really can still get lambskin condoms. Yeah. Ooh, I wonder if you could get one where they bite you when you open the package. Bah. That would be fantastic. No, the condoms thought to date to around 1830s and features an erotic etching alluding to the Greek myth of the Judgment of Paris.
The Judgment of Paris. Cool.
Interesting. Haru Spicy, an ancient belief that you can perform divination by casting guts or entrails from a freshly killed sheep or lamb onto the ground and reading the pattern they land in. And then, of course, picking up the pieces and using it for a condom when they're done. Yeah, but yeah, I saw them. It was kind of interesting. In days of old, where knights were bold and rubbers weren't invented, they tied a sock around their cock and babies weren't prevented. Yeah, I guess so.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Well, Onan had
for something, at least some chance of not having to have a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. All right, I'm going to hit the button. We're going to do our Theocracy Watch. Are you ready?
Indeed.
I forgot to. Yeah, here we go.
You're tuned in to the Atheist Morning Show on the Dan Network. And this is Theocracy Watch.
Imagine coming home from war, then being told you don't qualify for VA care because your marital status or politics. Welcome back to Theocracy Watch, where support our troops is now reserved for veterans who toe the far-right Christian line. In mid-June, the VA quietly struck out protections for marital status, political party, union membership, and national origin from its hospital bylaws. That means any VA doctor, nurse, psychologist, social worker, or dentist can now refuse treatment to an unmarried veteran, a registered Democrat, or a union member, someone else from another country. Officials claim it was simply streamlining paperwork, but medical ethics experts call it a Trojan horse for legalized discrimination, and that these bylaws could breach accreditation standards. Preaching love in the church, but divine exclusion at the VA door because they're God's favorite virtue is judgment, apparently, sounds like a page ripped from the Bible. Staff are now forbidden to even say transgender or gender-affirming care. As one psychologist put it, I've spent my career treating vets. Now I'm policing their identities instead of their trauma. These deliberate attacks are meant to harm every service member. Every veteran, whether missing limbs, battling PTSD, or simply doing their duty, earn these benefits the hard way. Denying them care is more than bureaucratic streamlining. It's betrayal. By turning personal traits into grounds for refusal, the VA has effectively outsourced judgment calls to providers' beliefs. The fallout will play out in waiting rooms nationwide where veterans risk being turned away rather than treated. They chant support the troops, then boot trans soldiers and force every veteran into a culture purity test before a single checkup. Veterans didn't swear to defend a chapel. They swore to uphold the Constitution. This loyalty gauntlet is the ultimate insult to their sacrifice and to our democracy. So until next time, keep asking questions. Stay curious. You're wild. You give your life for allegedly to protect the Constitution, which gives us our rights here in this country. And that only qualifies if you meet certain criteria.
Certain political criteria, religio-political criteria.
National.
It's
even if you're in a union. So a doctor now could say to you, hey, Chris, who'd you vote for? How does that sound right?
And if you give the wrong answer, he has the right to deny you medical care. Now, it was bad enough. Hold on one second. Let me do this thing. I got to do the thing. Okay. It was bad enough whenever we had to worry. We collectively, I say we, not me, other people. It was bad enough whenever we had to worry about them coming upon an accident, seeing a gay person, and being a Christian and an EMT refusing to give medical care to that gay person or Jewish person or Muslim or whatever insulted their religious sensibilities at the time.
Right.
You know? And now this just makes it worse. This makes it not, I mean, this isn't just about, I mean, that still exists and now is even more validated by the system because now even government doctors, VA doctors, right? That's what you were talking about.
Yes. So at the VA, they can discriminate against a veteran, someone who devoted their life to uphold an oath to protect the Constitution, and they are seen as second-class citizens, basically.
Yeah.
I know. I hate it here too, Dade. Good morning.
Me too. You know, I don't have a lot of patriotic love for the country.
How can you say like? Yeah. I was just saying, how can you say support our troops? It just reminds me of when they decry like pro-life, save the babies, but you want to bomb. Right. Like, which is it? Choose. Stay consistent. Just whatever you be. Just please be consistent. If you want to be an evil asshole, be an evil asshole. I can deal with that because I see you coming. I see it straight in my face. But this sidestepping and shucking and jiving and double-sided and duplicitous talk really freaking frustrates me. And I guess that's the purpose because they do want to gaslight us. They do want us to feel crazy. But at the end of the day, the veterans do not deserve to be pawns in this political, cultural purity test. That was a lot of words.
Exactly correct. It's a lot of words. It's a lot of words. I did zone out a few times, but I'm back.
Help me.
I wanted to mention that I got an email, a few years back. I was doing acting here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and there were these other actors they would put out these notifications looking for actors to come down and help train the APD. And what they were doing is they was doing riot training. So they'd go down there and paid actors to pretend to be rioters to help train the APD on how to deal with rioters. I refused.
Good.
I don't, I think that is just shooting yourself in the foot. I refused. But there were quite a few that did not, of my fellow actors. I noticed that most of them that did not tend to be of the right-leaning. Whenever I'd see their posts on Facebook, I'm like, he's a little, I kind of noticed the similarity, the not similarity, but the correlation between the ones that are kind of right-leaning and the ones that really went out for that sort of thing. But anyway, I got an email the other day, and it is from a casting company. I'm not going to put it up on the screen. I don't want to call out anybody, because oftentimes they don't know anything. But this is a casting company. This is not for a traditional film. It says the military is doing some training and needs some actors to help the soldiers immerse themselves in the environment. We are looking for the following: village role players, male and female, between the ages of 18 to 65, must be able to walk a mile. So this is bothersome. I find these very bothersome, especially in today's time. I got this email on the 16th, 3 days ago. I got the email to my actor's email account.
Okay, yeah, that's really gross.
Isn't that weird? And it's filming in Las Cruces, so it's in the desert of New Mexico. So it's kind of like they're wanting to teach. They're wanting to train the military here in the deserts of New Mexico using actors to deal with villagers. But I think what they're doing is they're not villagers. They are immigrants, people who've crossed the border with the border patrol and that sort of thing. I mean, it just kind of makes more sense. Just down the road, we have villagers. Villagers.
Right.
Yeah. Have you forwarded that to the AP? Forwarded what to the AP? Oh, the email to the AP. I don't know what they would give a shit about that. Some people, if you look at it correctly, it could be considered a good thing. The military wants to learn and train their. All right, let me start. I know where I went wrong there. I do. I went wrong there whenever I said the military wants to. Okay, let me just get rid of that. Let me start over by saying the military could really use some training on how to deal with people and not, they really could use more like sensitivity training to deal with regular civilians.
De-escalation training versus escalation training.
Yes. That the military felt this was the necessary. No, that's the laughable part. Ryan couldn't even let me get the whole sentence out. She was
sorry.
I know, you got the googly eyes going there. The Office says they did that in Texas in 2015. They did stuff. They were fucking crazy in 2015. They were trying to start a little bit of a thing with Obama and trying to make it look like Obama was flexing his muscles on Texas or some business or some shit like that. But I did notice there's a car lot down the way. It doesn't matter. My opinion of them doesn't matter at all, because I drive electric cars and I don't drive the ones I don't buy. Even if I did buy, I don't buy the kinds of cars I saw down the road. But down the road here, in the very town I work in or live in, which is a tiny little town outside of New Mexico, Albuquerque, they had like 15 or 20 black police unit trucks or whatever you call them, with the lights inside and all that, no markings on them. This is a car lot, and they've got all these in the back of the car lot, like they've been purchased, shipped in, and they're putting the things in them and getting them ready for action. That's a lot of money. They're spending a lot of money to hurt people.
We spend a shit ton of money to hurt people and to flex our muscle, apparently, as this past weekend proved with Trump's failed military parade.
And what the hell? What the hell? You know, he's still talking about hitting Iran. At any moment, he could hit Iran. He claimed a few days ago to know where the leader of Iran was. Who could be wrong? I mean, see, isn't there's kind of a, go ahead, girl.
No, I was saying there was like so much. I'm just like, yeah, you go ahead. But like that tweet that he said, we know where he is. We won't kill him yet, or whatever he said.
Right,
Take him out, kill yet.
Yeah.
Like what a threat. But did you see that interview? I do not like fucker Carlson.
Me either. I did see that.
That interview that he did with who's the senator?
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz lit him up. That was fantastic.
Oh man, he embarrassed the ish out of homie. Oh, I was eating that up. I was actually eating that up.
I've never, ever in my life, ever rooted for Tucker Carlson. And yet a couple of days ago,
I never see the day.
I know when I saw that, I was like, what the hell? Did I have a stroke? Is this an alternate universe?
Out.
Is he literally ass fucking Ted Cruz right here on national television? Is that what's happening?
Indeed.
And he keeps going, you don't know anything about Iran, do you?
What's the population of Iran?
Right.
And then he asked him, he's like 92 million. What kind of what he asked, ethnicities or whatever live there?
Yeah, what's the main ethnicities?
Yeah.
You know, I think Ted Cruz missed an opportunity there. Because he could have went, instead of going, because when he goes, how many people are in Iran? Well, Tucker Carlson already had that loaded. He already knew the answer to that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Why didn't he go, how many people are in Qatar? Come on, you act like you know everything. He's not that smart. No, he's not that smart.
Yeah. And he wouldn't have known the answer either. So that's right. But I mean, I guess it would have, I don't know. But it is kind of true that somebody who is voting on something like that should know some basics about the country. You would think the basics about the country that you think you can. How can you think that you can overturn an enemy, right? When you don't know who the enemy is, what they're composed. Like that's so silly to battle an enemy that you don't understand or know. Does that not sound stupid? Like you want our service people to die?
Does stupid not sound on point? Actually, a signature move for this group of people? It really does, doesn't it?
Gosh. Impulsively, they will just follow behind Netanyahu cleaning up his shit. It is really what they're doing. They're being dog walked by Netanyahu. And I mean, I can't even believe that MTG is seeing it too. The fact that I have now agreed with Marjorie Trader Green and freaking Tucker Carlson. I'm like, where am I? Is this hell?
Is this what kind of mind hell have I gone into? Yes. Is this an alternate universe, alternate timeline? Like, Did Worf make the wrong decision, or what happened?
We need to go back in time and change some stuff.
Yes. We've got to go back and fix it. You've seen the movies. They do that a lot.
That needs to happen.
And good morning, Martin. Thank you for joining us. A lot of cool folks are joining us today. Carrie Ann Chrysler, thank you for joining us this morning. Fern, when they reached the pinnacle of their power that they gained by fighting enemies. Here's one of the deals. All right, I got to say, I am not, and I got to be careful here, I am not a fan of the leadership of Iran. I'm not. I feel like the leadership of Iran is currently under the oppressive leadership of a right-wing Muslim theocracy. And they could actually really use some help getting freed from the oppressive fist of their leaders, blah, blah, blah. I actually kind of believe that. I don't think Israel's the one that should be doing that. I think Israel is just a different hat. They're the same kind of right-wing religious oppressive theocracy that runs Israel that they're trying to topple from Iran. They're just different gods. It's actually Allah against Yahweh. It's Allah and Yahweh wrestling to the death right now.
Yeah, they're mirror images of each other. And again, that mirror image was the first reflection was with Netanyahu and his shenanigans. And does Iran have I don't like their government whatsoever. The people, but this is not the way. Toppling them, that's how these people got in power. because we toppled the other leader that we said was bad. So this is not the way to do it. Now, making relationships, peaceful relationships, building bridges, that will absolutely change the posture of a country. I believe that within my heart.
Yeah. Brent A points out that 2 days before there was a scheduled negotiation, Israel attacked. This is true. There were several things. And, you know, I mean, I'm 50 years old, and I mean, I'm thinking all the way back to the Bush era. I can remember even in the Bush era, they were talking about, oh, Iran is a month away from having nuclear weapons. You know, so this is all just an excuse. Now, I've heard that there's actually a semi-secular democratic government there burgeoning, trying to get through, trying to build and develop, but it's currently under the thumb of the religious, I can't even say his name. You know what I mean? The religious leader, Ayatollah Tayyip, son of a bitch. I can see it if I read it. Yes, I think that you did a great job. Yeah. But anyway, he's got him and the religious group are oppressing this democratic potential. Mm-hmm. If they were removed, if they get removed now, that would be, I don't see that as sort of like right now, if something happened and the Zionist far right leadership of Israel if Israel were freed from that, I'd like to see him all free. Ayatollah Khomeini, thank you very much, the awfulest.
Yeah.
I blame my Texas accent.
And even they have said, I can't remember one of their, somebody, I don't know what they called their politicians, I apologize, but somebody in one of their cabinets, let's say, even said, we would happily not have the nuclear weapons if we can just build relations with America. That is what we would prefer. And this has been their stance, but we consistently paint them as the enemy in the press. And why is that? I, again, believe that's because of the PACs, because of AIPAC, because of Kufi, because of J Street, because of Israel. They want them to be the bad guy. They want to topple them because they want to be the head honcho, I guess, in the area running shit.
Right. I don't know. There's a lot. It is obviously complicated. I just have a hard time. I have a hard time sympathizing with people who claim the high ground while killing children and killing journalists. I really have a hard time with it. And if you know me, you know enough about me to know I am not an anti-Semitic. I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't care about that part of it. I'm an anti-Zionist. I'm an anti-right-wing MAGA person. That's what I am. And you got, whether you call it a Zionist, a MAGA, fascist, whatever, they're all kind of the same group of people. And my understanding is part of the problem nowadays here in the States is you cannot actively criticize the Zionist government that's doing all the damage over there without being labeled anti-Jewish or an anti-Semitic.
Even Jewish people, they will call Jewish people anti-Semitic. They're like, that's not how this works.
But see, let's take that. That the equivalent of that would be like a MAGA patriot saying we're not Americans, we're not proper Americans, we're not patriots, right? Yeah. Does that make sense? I mean, this is the same ilk of people. Adrian Belgrade, did Vic the pupper wanted extra attention this morning? Oh, good morning, Vic. Thank you for showing up. Slacker. Let's see. Bomb Poppy, did you guys see the crazy news coming out of Ireland? Nuns disposed of babies down a pipe and they have been unearthed. Pro-life. All right. Now, Ryan, we actually talked about this on the show a while back. We've talked about this briefly, and I didn't have any real references at the point, but now they have found, I think they're up to, they're up to 800, I think, babies that they have pulled out of various places. I think this one here was 800. Let me bring up the news.
I didn't realize it was. Yeah, I mean this is exactly what they have uncovered in America with our indigenous friends at the residential schools, with all the, and in Canada as well. They have started to unearth a lot of unmarked bodies, just thrown in big graves or just unmarked graves with, you know, markings of being injured. I'm so disgusted. And this is all freaking Christians and majority Catholic.
Okay.
Let's be very clear.
Now, I just want to mention, I don't know how much I trust. I see here's Facebook. That's WKRC TV. So we've got several different news outlets, nearly 800 babies. This is a different place. The reason why is because the very first article that came up is the New York Post. I don't know if I really trust the New York Post to wipe my ass with them, because they're like a right-wing. Anyway, 796 babies expected to be the total found in a septic tank at unwed mother's home run by nuns. So in total, 798 children died at the home between 1925 and its closure in 1961. Of which just 2 were buried in a nearby cemetery.
2 got respect. Thanks for that.
Wow. I mean, it was literally a cesspit of bodies where you put your crap and everything. The other 796 children's remains are believed to be under the site of the Bon Secours mother and baby home, which was demolished in 1971 and is now surrounded by a modern apartment complex. Bon Secours, known locally as the Home, was a maternity home for unwed mothers. That goes on a bit, but there's pictures, lots of pictures, not of like babies and stuff, but you know what I mean?
Gross.
This is a thing, you know? I just wish I could think of a way to express that. Now, Richard, I don't want to steal from Christopher Hitchens when he said religion poisons everything, but I mean, it really does. Religion is harmful in every measure. And I wish there was something we could do. But yeah, I mentioned yesterday we should ban religion. And as I was going back to watch the videos about tsunami and the things going on with the chat, I noticed quite a few people in the chat were like, man, how would you ban religion? How would you keep people from teaching this? And how would you stop them from teaching their kids? I know. How would you do that? I mean, it's a really, but technically they've tried throughout history. Governments of various types have tried to, I mean, wasn't it England during King Henry, after he separated from the Church of England, King Henry VIII, burned down every Catholic church or some business like that throughout all of England. There was, they had priestholds. Have you ever heard of a priesthold? A little like you'd have in your home or your little chapel or somewhere, that little secret area where a priest could hide.
Oh, a little hut.
Yeah, or no, well, like they'd have it like a basement built under their house with fake slats where there'd be a ladder going down there or something like that. Bon Popsy says, I was absolutely believe that we should shame people for believing in religion. That'd be a good way to go. We can't ban it, but we can make it unpleasant for those who cling to it. Ridiculous bullshit. And one thing we ought to do is ban it from our politics. Ban it you cannot bring, because look at Mike Johnson and them holding prayer sessions in the White House.
Mm-mm.
You know,
uncomfortable, crossing the line.
Let me take a look here.
And as I said before, that'll just be used as a way to decipher who is towing the line or not. Do you come to the prayers in the morning? If you come to the prayers, you're probably somebody who's on their team. If you don't come, then you're probably going to be the one that they are trying to nix. 86.
That's right. And there's other things that go along with that too. They want the prayer in school. They want the high school coach to be able to sit down underneath the field goal and with those Christian kids who want to pray, and they want to be able for him to lead a prayer there with those kids. But where does it end? You know, do the kids that stay on the bench and don't go pray, do they get to play?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what I mean? There's discrimination.
What if you just want a Christian team?
What's that? A Christian team. Yes.
They might just want a Christian team.
And I got to say, that kind of brings us to another point I like to make is why don't the Christian high school teams always win? Why don't they win every time? Why don't they always win the championship? They've got Jesus behind them. Their whole team and everybody rooting for them is praying to Jesus. They have more Jesus power, if you will. So why don't they automatically win everything? It's just kind of curious. There doesn't seem.
Why is there always a stalemate?
We're there. Meek says, Meek, I love you. I would come grab your butt right now if I could, but they say I can't. HR tells me HR? Yeah, they say I can't do that. Meek says, just making misinformation a crime. Yes, I have been saying for some time that whenever all this is done and we actually have to take our country back from this fascist regime that has overthrown. And once we get our country back, we need to make political misinformation in political ads punishable by jail time. So I'm not for anybody but the politician. The politician has to go to jail because otherwise, some little patsy would be out there taking the fall for, make misinformation in political campaigns illegal. It's dangerous.
Or ban them from apps. They're no longer allowed to have social media.
Okay, so let me just do a thing here. Let me go. I'm going to go be brief.
Yeah, bring back stupid gaming. I agree.
Yes. So as of June 2025, this is according to chat, which did the research on the internet, so take it for what you will. As of June 2025, which we're still in June, we're 20 days, 21 days, 19 days into June. Okay. An estimated 208,000 children have died due to the U.S. foreign aid cuts.
USA
primarily from preventable diseases and malnutrition. If cuts continue, up to 4.5 more children under 5 could die by 2030. Now, these cuts were enforced and inflicted upon the human race by these same people who managed to get their asses up in the group and pray every morning before they go in and start to destroy our country. Mike Johnson is part of the people who are right. Mike Johnson, Elon Musk's, these 208,000 children's deaths belong on Elon Musk's head. A war against the poor. Elon Musk was the one who came in and cut all that out. Yeah. We wouldn't want to help brown children on the other side of the world, would we? That just makes for more brown children. And then they make more brown children, So we don't actually have to go in and bomb them later if we can just let natural causes take them now.
Yep. Cause conditions where they basically have no more resources, no home, no nothing, and then leave them desperate.
Absolutely. A repeat thing, colonialism. And this whole notion that God has told me that your land belongs to me. That's not just Israel. Mm-hmm. The United States did it with the Native Americans. South Africa, the colonialists there did it to the locals there. God gave. We talked about that on the show. Remember that one Boer? He had told I forgot her name. Thespia? Tertia. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he told Tertia. Yeah. He told Tertia that that they were the chosen people. Of course, and that was their notion too. That's why they took that land. They're chosen people.
And he was straight up espousing like Nazi talking points.
Absolutely. Yeah. Carrie and Chrysler, they're doing it to anyone who doesn't bring home $40K a year. That's one of the things the wife and I were talking about, is that if you're a poor person in this country, you're about to get a serious.
I wouldn't have survived. I was barely surviving as it was as a single mom making less than $40K a year with 3 kids.
No way now.
And more, it would not. It'd have been a bad situation.
Yep. And that's what they want. That's what I believe. I believe that's what the conservatives want. They want to push our people into a strata of poor. They want to swell our poor.
We're probably going to find more children being forced into foster care. And, from foster care into white homes, into, heavy Christian indoctrination, these are all like funnels and pipelines that we're witnessing.
And you know what else is coming up? Child labor.
Yeah, haven't they already been changing laws about how many hours a child can work or something like that?
Yep, Florida did it because they got rid of all the migrants, right? They made it, not all the migrants, they went after all the immigrants. And so the labor force is so horrible there, they're making it to where I think it's kids as young as 14 can work overnight shifts in hazardous areas on school nights.
They do not want these children having an education. That reminds me of like back in the Depression times where everybody had to fend for themselves. If you could walk, you need to fucking find a way to support your family.
That's right.
That is what this is coming to.
That's right. And every major depression brought onto our economy has been done so by a conservative president. Ooh. Every single one of them. The one in the 1930s, the Great Depression, that was caused by a conservative president. And he did the same thing. Tariffs. You can go look it up. Tariffs. Yeah, they destroyed our country. It was tariffs. It was very similar to what Donald Trump is trying to do now. And then again in like 1860 or 1840, they did the same thing. Also again with tariffs. It's weird. Raven Lunatic, good morning. I hope you're having. Yeah. Nice to see you, Raven. Thank you for joining us. Making the poor swell is bad. So I should just stop giving head to homeless people. Well, sometimes there's services. You got to perform a service, you know? I think you're on the right track. Just be safe. Send safely, my friend.
The tariffs don't, I mean, I'm not a business person, so I really shouldn't be commenting too much on tariffs. I mean, they don't make sense as it is. But if I owned a store, if I just raise my prices up, whatever fucking percent things will go up, my stuff is going to sell better. My sales will go down unless there's some kind of demand, right? If I have a product that's like in super demand, then yeah, you can probably raise your prices and get away with it. That's not what we're seeing here. That is not what is going to happen here. If anything, we're going to make ourselves the anathema of making money. They're going to see the U.S. as a place that they're just going to lose if they invest into us. Would have been smarter if we maybe would have done the right thing and bargained on our tariffs to find ways to get better product here for cheaper and get our product out to other countries to make manufacturing want to come here. Right. But I'm stupid. I don't know.
Yes, and that's part of the deal is I think it was a pump and dump. Well, the biggest pump and dump in history.
Oh God, yeah, Donald the transfer Trump. Of wealth. Yeah, the biggest
transfer of wealth in a single day in history. Absolutely.
From under our feet, they're stealing the dirt from under our feet and trying to sell it back to us.
Congratulations, Theophilus. Theophilus says my daughter had her baby today on her birthday. Congratulations!
Well, birthday.
Congratulations!
Double birthday.
Tell your crotch spawn that congratulations on having their own crotch spawn.
What a blessing. Zeus blesses you.
Zeus blesses you. Glad to hear it, though. Congratulations.
All blesses you.
Kidding aside, congratulations. Swim is here. Vic Litt is here. Michael Beverly, good morning. America can't compete with China. However, they do still import things like M&Ms and Miller Lite. You know, America can't compete with China now. But give us a little bit of time of breaking our people, ripping away their financial security, and essentially crashing the economy to where people are in food lines and willing to work for anything, and you'll have American phones. You'll have American-made phones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we did hear that Donald Trump has got his own telephone, right? Trump Media or Trump Network or some bullshit. He's got his own cell phone now.
Oh shit. I cannot.
No, he does.
I cannot with the ways they will fleece the maggots. I shouldn't even say the American people. Yes, the American people, but really the maggots are so easily extorted from.
Yeah. My understanding, they've had a couple of problems with it. One is that the map says the Gulf of Mexico. So I know so that the problem in the phone, in your map, in your phone, if you get a Trump phone, it says the Gulf of Mexico. So you'd never be able to find the Gulf of America. That'd be horrible. And then, of course, they claim it's a $500 phone made in America. But people are very skeptical. I need to go look it up. People, if you're out there, go look it up. I believe absolutely it's probably made somewhere in China or Taiwan. somewhere like that.
Allegedly, Trump's businesses from China are booming. He's doing very well with his businesses from China.
I know.
While everybody else is starving.
Brent A says, this is late stage capitalism. Get used to it. The people with money are perfectly happy with the status quo. This is true. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for, this is late stage capitalism. I'm waiting for, I guess, end stage capitalism, and then first stage of hopefully something good coming after it. I hope I lived that long enough to see what that is.
Yeah, the rebellion. Please let me be here for that.
Yeah. Adrian Belgrave, said Mr. Weed. Let's see. Scott. Ooh, Suit Kettle. What a cool name, Suit Kettle. Got home from work about an hour ago and been on the couch listening to you since then. I can see why my dear fiance likes this show so much. Well, thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Do you want to out your fiance? Who should we give credit for? Who should we blame? Who should you blame for the psychotherapy you're going to need after watching this show?
Soot. Oh, Soot.
Oh, hey, Soot. It's Deviant Outcast.
Oh,
there you go.
I thought you were my fiance, Deviant Outcast. Okay.
Well, awesome. So thank you for joining us. Remember what says gold to match the shoes? Is that what the color of the phone is? I wouldn't be surprised if it's.
Oh God, is it gold? Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
Is it I wonder, is it a touch phone?
I don't know. Let me look it up. Trump phone. You remember he was doing the Trump coins and they turned out to be mostly junk metal with a very thin layer of golds on them. They weren't gold coins at all.
Yes. He's had all kinds of I think he had a gold bar or something. There's been a lot of fun things he's sold. It just reminds me of one of those shops after you go to I don't know, a museum or something, and the rinky-dink stuff at the end where it's the shop. That's kind of what his stuff seems like. Oh, welcome to the United States shop of former president. Here's all the stuff. Gold bar paperweight.
Right. Here's these plastic earrings.
Yeah, he's just cheap.
Yeah. Cheap. Here's the deal. It says Trump Mobile. Oh, this is actually Trump's Experience the World of Trump. I can't. It's just a sea of fucking text. I can't make nothing out of it. It's in the language I read, but I mean, Jesus Christ. Look at this. I'll share this with you. This is Trump.com, by the way, people. Here you go. Check this out, my friends. I am not promoting Trump.com. If anything, I'm de-promoting Trump.com. I think look at this. It's just a weed of fucking. They're like, ain't nobody going to read all that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Give me your money. So that's interesting and disturbing. Unless the Trump family, this is an article out of Fortune magazine, unless the Trump family secretly built a U.S. factory, industry experts say the $500 made in America smartphone is a fantasy.
No way in hell. I wonder how many man hours it takes to make one phone. There's lots of things that I'd have to break down to understand the net positive. And...
Well, that varies. That actually varies. Man hours varies. Depends on man hours is actually determined by sex and skin color.
Really?
Yeah. If you're a woman, obviously it's going to take more man hours for you to make, or fewer man hours for you to make. I don't know. I'm just being sarcastic.
Oh, I thought
they like to oppress women.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was an actual.
It wouldn't, would it? That they would pay a woman less for her man hours than they would a man for his.
Oh, yes. That we know they'd get paid less, but I wasn't sure if there was a production kind of who's more productive when it comes to manufacturing. If there's. If sex has anything to do with it or not, I don't know. Wonder.
Probably not. I would think women would technically probably be better if I had smaller hands and all that business in general. But then again, you get to Asian people and you got Asian women and they're smaller with smaller fingers. And you've got all manner of prejudice wrapped up in it.
Indeed.
So really, odd squirrel chasing aside, how would Trump make that phone in the United States for that much money? But, there's one of those things, whenever you talk about how much money Trump allegedly has or has grifted just during his presidency, can you not imagine? I mean, billions of dollars. He could literally pay to have a factory set up and build all of those phones and give them away. Mm-hmm. I don't see why that would cost more than $500 million to you know?
Hey, I'm surprised he doesn't do that. So that way he can monitor everything even easier.
Oh, no shit, huh?
Monitor everything.
Can you imagine? Yeah, you think giving your shit to Zucky Baby is bad.
All the data that they're going to be stealing from these people.
Ooh. True. Michael Beverly says manufacturing is going robotic. The real fight isn't man versus woman; it's human versus robotics. That's true. That is true. I was being hyperbolous because of the racist nature of our dear leader, but you're right. And here's my thinking. My thinking is this: we have enough raw materials and stuff like that to where nobody has to want anything. There's plenty of everything out there for everybody. I know it sounds weird, and especially whenever we get robots mining and manufacturing and doing all the labor there's plenty of materials. I don't see why we would need hungry people or poor people. Why everybody can't have a house and a car. And, I don't see why you can't have that. There's plenty of resources. We can actually have all those things. Some things we need to be done smartly, obviously, oil and whatnot. But I'm just saying there's so many things. How many cars out there are brand new that don't get sold every year?
Oh, gosh.
They're just cars. How many houses out there do we have versus how many homeless people?
Sitting empty.
Yeah. There's just so many things that if just our society were done with not necessarily capitalism, but with the human interest in mind, we would be so much better off.
Absolutely.
Michael Beverly says, we could be post-scarcity. Thank you for that. That's the best way to put it. Universal basic income, food, housing, clothing, etc., is already possible. Well possible. There was a guy quoted, I think is Aldous Huxley or some shit like that, 1920s, said we're already getting close to the point to where they could be that way. We don't have this because of greedy nationalistic capitalists. That's right. That's why we don't have it.
Yeah, we have the ability.
Yeah.
We have the capability to do a lot of good things for this country. It's a choice. We're choosing not to, because that doesn't make rich people richer. And if we all come up to the level of like rich people and we're happy with our lives, then what's the point of being rich and being looked up to if everybody's perfectly happy in my life? Then they won't be the envy of people, right? So they lose power in that.
That's right. Yeah. There is no love for the poor people in the administration at all. That's the whole deal. We don't really have to have poor people. And one thing is, once everybody had universal basic income, a vehicle being part of every person needs a vehicle. Every person needs Wi-Fi or internet at home. Everybody needs a communication device. These should all be parts of basic human things that everybody should be given, technically. I said, why not? Everybody, the poorest of people living in Islamic countries, in African countries, everybody on the planet could have all of these things, and we could be okay.
Oh my God, the earth is bountiful. It is so bountiful, but these are all, again, intentional decisions being made so we don't have equality, so people aren't happy. I don't think Christians want that. I honestly don't think any zealot wants that, because they don't see that in the I don't know. I don't think that happy people get closer to God. I think they want sad people, because they have to have a God to keep them like not wanting to leave this planet.
I kind of wish there was a God pill. I wish there was a pill that you could give people that would, they'd be like, oh, now all of a sudden they like, wow, I don't how I believed in that shit, and it would be like a permanent cure. I wish there was such a thing. I'm going to run our Conspirowin commercial. Thank you, President What's Your Fuck, and we'll be back in just a minute. Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. Conspirowin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirowin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirowin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking,
But my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
Or two. There we are. And we're back. We made it.
We did it.
Carrie Ann Crosser, thank you for joining us this morning. Says more things planted, localized food sourcing to eliminate transportation, store. We could be doing so many things so much smarter than we currently do them. That's very true. With the technologies we have as well, so much easier. Electricity, I think electricity should be free. Yeah, we'll take a little bit of tax. Everybody, you already get taxed. Take a little bit of tax, and that tax is used to maintain the system and increase whatever needs we need as far as, building the equipment to get that. But that cost alone will be so much cheaper than what Americans actually pay to electric companies to make their board members millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah. Right?
We don't need that. We could build that straight ourselves. The American government could build solar panel things and wind farms and provide that direct. What's that?
There's so much we could do.
We could build that and provide that electricity directly for free to our American citizens for a fraction of the cost of what we spend on military equipment every year.
Endless options. I agree with you. I think that nowadays we live staying connected. That is what has been the wonderful thing about the internet. It has brought us together.
True.
And it's the basis for every business, for school, for you name it, healthcare. Why not just make it a part of our everyday life that everybody is guaranteed to have electricity?
That's right. Masi Manuka says everybody having a vehicle is a little bit unrealistic. Very true. I think I'm an area out in the West Desert, so it's very spread out. And if you don't have a vehicle here, you're just kind of screwed. But I get it. In most big cities, most places, no, I think that the smart algorithm would have to accommodate for that sort of thing. Some people do need cars. Some people don't need cars. And you're right. Everybody having like a chicken in a pot. Well, that was part of was it Eisenhower? Every American family will have a chicken in a pot and a car in a garage. That was his promise.
I think I don't think that everybody needs a car, really. Nor do they want a car. Nor
exactly
could they afford a car. But
don't have to afford a car in this scenario, though. It's given to
you. Okay.
Part of the deal.
So you don't have to pay for insurance or anything like that, you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Insurance is just a middleman.
I think that who's going to pay who pays when there's an accident and stuff, though? That's
right. But that would be a government control thing, sort of like government insurance. I just think because insurance is the same thing. We could pay a small office of people to take care of that as far as managing the paper, like within the government, or we could pay external insurance companies millions of dollars to their board members and their CEOs and all this stuff so they can all have yachts and stuff. You know what I mean? If we cut out the middleman of the insurance company as well,
Yeah, well, I think banks, insurance companies all need a different, change.
Yeah, it's got to be switched.
Something has to, because they are exploiting us. I believe. Well, not I believe. I know they're exploiting us. But if we could just freaking work on actual transportation for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Cities. I mean, gosh, the little city that I live in, there's barely a sidewalk, barely a fucking sidewalk.
Yeah.
There's not a bike lane. The buses aren't even that, the buses don't have great bus stops.
Right.
How about you fix some of that so people can at least get to a damn job.
Or something like this, like I kind of where, I mean, maybe the car was probably a bad example, but I'm talking like a food and electricity and water. Have you ever not paid your water bill and had them shut off your water?
Oh God, yeah, I've had all of it shut off.
Yeah, me too. Those kinds of things. The internet, you got to have the internet in order to function properly in our modern society because of communications and jobs, or whatever you kind of got to have all these things. It's there. It's already there. Why can't they give that away? They should. The American government should take care of it. I'm just saying, it should be, all these things should be like basic necessities.
Yeah.
I all over the world. Everybody. It's not just America. It's kind of everybody, really.
Right. But our focus instead is in military and going to another planet for some reason, because this Earth, we're going to lose our sun in several billion years. So we've got to plan for that now. Our planet probably won't last till then because the way we're treating it. But sure, let's plan about the sun going out in several billion years.
Right. But see, even moving to Mars wouldn't help that.
I know. Like,
but
when Elon said that, I was like, are you dumb? Like, are you really stupid? Oh, okay, so Mars is going to survive if our star crumbles or explodes, implodes, whatever the hell will happen. Go supernova. I don't freaking know.
My understanding is he's got a bachelor's degree in engineering, and that's as good as he got. I mean, there's this notion that he's some strange Wile E. Coyote super genius, but he is not. He's just a nepo
baby. He's a big titty baby.
That's right.
He got the money handed down to him, and once you come for money, all doors are open to you, and you can buy the people who are smart. You don't got to be smart as long as you can pay the smart people.
That's right. And Vic Liz says it's an honorary degree. I don't know that it is for real. I don't know if he really did go to the camp. I remember seeing pictures of him in school, but it wouldn't surprise me if he actually paid off instructors. I didn't say he did. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if he bought his degree in one way or another. Matter of fact, didn't we see a woman, some famous actress a few years back, got arrested, tried, convicted, and thrown in jail because she paid professors. Yeah. So her daughter, Lori Loughlin, wasn't it?
It was some actress or something, was it not? Somebody
I think it was. Loughlin arrested. Yeah. Was arrested in Lake for her involvement in the college admissions scandal, also known as Operation Varsity Blues. She and her husband, Massimo Giannulli, were accused of paying $500,000 to have their daughters admitted to the University of Southern California as fake crew team members.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not unheard of that some rich person can buy their child or their own way through a university.
Just like that. 500 G's dropped. Yep. No problem. Drop in the bucket.
And well, she's an actress and a well-known actress. And I mean, I'm an actor. I know that most of us starve. But there are those, you either starve or you do really freaking well. And if you know her name, Lori Loughlin, you probably know she's doing really well. She was the woman, she does a lot of those, I think they're like Hallmark Christmas movie thing. She's really
okay, one of the like TLC kind of movies.
Yes, really. So she's probably got Hallmark coin. Let me go here just for fun. Net worth.
And you know what's so funny about that Hallmark channel? As far as I know, don't they always kind of had like a Christian overtone?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
So here she is playing somebody who has morals, breaking the law on the other hand.
According to parade.com, because you can trust parade.com, her net worth combined with that of her husband's is $80 million.
Oof.
So, yeah.
That's a lot of
moolah. Isn't that interesting? That's a lot of moolah. And, to go to jail for something is,
dumb.
How do you actually sit there and think, okay, honey, we're sitting at the dinner table and you're like, little Cindy is just too stupid to get into this college. So we're going to have to go pay her way in. And, the other was like, you know what? I know a guy who actually controls that shit. I got him on my email over here. How does that all work out? Michael Beverly, everything is like this: singing, acting, writing. There's the Durantes of the world. And then there's us normal folks struggling to get the algos to notice us. That's true. That's true. That's true. And one of the things about Durante's thing, though, he was struggling just like all the rest of us. And then he made a couple of changes and then just rode that pony like Seabiscuit.
Yeah, I think once you get a hit and you figure out that, then as long as you're smart enough to ride that wave, you can do well. I've just never I maybe never paid attention, but.
Well, I think I had the opportunity and I missed it. Whenever I first fired up the channel and I was doing the top 10s videos, my first one or first two kind of did really well, but it took me so long to do more of them because I got the problem where I don't, do the thing on the regular. And anyway, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to wrap up our show here, read our super chats real quick. Thank you all for your support, by the way. Left-Handed Jedi has been a super member for 8 months. Woo! 7 months. Can't read. Chris cannot read. Trump couldn't get it up to 100 feet, he says. Probably. I was wondering if it was maybe the cost. Maybe Vladimir Putin said, no, 100 feet too high. So Trump had to say no. Anyway, Fern Love Bond said for $5. Thank you for the super chat. Says, have you found Jesus? For fuck's sake, have you lost him again? Use more nails next time. Screws. I recommend screws.
Yeah, harder to get out.
That's right. Harder to get out. Some zip ties, too, go a long way. I'm just saying.
Take it from ice. They know.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Ryan, thank you for joining me today. You are wonderful. I very much appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Send safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace.